Hey, hey.
Hi, you guys. We are so excited about what we're filming today. We hope you enjoy it. We are downtown Murphy's, California.
One of our favorite spots to come.
Yes, and you can see behind us, we are at Folia Winery. And the reason we're here and featuring them, not only are they amazing people, but they were titled Best Wine Tasting Room of Calaveras County.
And that's pretty impressive.
That is so impressive. There are over, I think, 25 wine tasting rooms in Calaveras. They're some of our favorite people. They have an amazing personality. Please come check them out. We're going to head in. We're going to introduce you guys, show you everything. You can hear their story. But yeah, so we're super excited to be here. As you can see, it is a wine tasting room and hat shop, and you will get that story here in just a moment.
It's a beautiful, check out your favorite winery kind of day.
Absolutely.
We are Aaron and Aretha Kringle.
And we are inviting you to come mingle with the Kringles. Okay, you guys, so this is their logo, which I absolutely love. We're going to hear the story behind the name of the winery. This is their beautiful front of store, and
this is their tasting room and hat shop.
Tasting room and hat shop, and they have a lovely little patio out here that you can come and sit and enjoy your wine. They've got lights if you'd like to come in the evening. We'll have to find out what time they close. I'm not 100% sure, but look at this. They have an olive tree, which if you guys remember from Musamelli, I ate an olive off of an olive tree and it didn't taste good. But here is that. They've got wine corks, all these fun little quirky additions to their decorations, delicious wines, and fun hats. La Folia Tasting Room. So let's head in and meet everyone. And they are pet friendly, so that's exciting too. Okay, so Aaron's going to lead us in here. I can't wait to show you guys the inside.
Thank you very much.
Hello, you guys, this is so beautiful.
Thank you.
I'm so excited to showcase, and I have to show you guys these top hats that are on top. Ryan has an amazing story about how they came into this wine tasting room. They originally started at the other end of Murphy's, but let me introduce you guys. So this is Ryan.
Hi.
Hi. So Ryan, you and your wife Stephanie are the owners, correct? Okay, and then this is Anne, and Anne is your weekend tasting room hostess, basically.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. So we're excited to hear your story. First of all and foremost, congratulations.
Thank you.
On getting the best title that you could possibly get in Murphy's, in my opinion.
Yeah, it was actually quite a surprise. I've always kind of joked around with the fact that I was the second best tasting room or second best winemaker in town, and so when we got an email that said we were the best, I was like, "Oh, this is cool." I always sort of joked about that. So
well deserved.
Yeah,
well deserved.
Cool.
And so Stephanie explained just a few minutes ago, before we dive into all of the wines and everything you guys have to offer, that you originally kind of wanted to open this tasting room as a speakeasy.
Yeah, so we were trying to come up with a style, and I don't have any style. So we were thinking kind of a library, kind of a speakeasy, and we kind of also like the old French sort of countertops and French country, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's kind of where we went with all of that. Originally, we had a few hats. When we moved here, we had a few hats, and we had my brother's artwork. Now we have kind of shifted the opposite. Now we have more hats and less artwork.
Well, and I love the hats, and I think that this is your style. And having known you guys for quite a few years now, I feel like this is kind of always the style that I've thought of you guys of having is these top hats. And so you made these lights.
I did, yeah. So my brother-in-law lives in Ireland, and he sent me a picture of this kind of concept. And so I looked up the hat lights, try to find them on the internet, and I found them, and they were like $700-800.
Wow.
So I was like, well, I guess I'm not going to do that. And then as the advent of LED lights came around, I thought, why don't I just drill some holes in hats and hang them from...
Absolutely.
Because there's
and
no
look
heat
at this.
around that. So, and it worked out really well.
It did.
I'm happy with the way it worked out. I'm the king of unfinished projects, so we got the first 3 done in like no time, and then the last one took like 2 years. Because it's so hard to just drill a hole in a hat.
Yeah, find the right hat.
There's that, and it's actually not quite as easy as it might seem. It tends to want.
As it sounds like it would be. Yeah.
Exactly.
And I see you guys feature like black and white films.
Yeah, so we like to have something playing where people are wearing hats. And
Okay.
So two of our favorites are Casablanca, which is playing right now, and then also Maltese Falcon.
Nice.
So, and it's funny because now it's one of the few times in this movie that nobody's wearing a hat.
That's okay. Most people will know what you mean by Casablanca. That's a great movie. And so another thing that fascinated me about your story is what you designed it with. So when you originally moved in here, it was kind of bare bones, and you had to create.
Yeah, we were very fortunate to get a sublease from somebody for about 6 months, which allowed us to do our build out. This has been a very long self-funded project, paycheck to paycheck, and really building the brand from absolutely nothing,
and not having to have those loans on top of your head is nice.
And that was huge. Originally I went to college to become a mechanic, so I went to a community college, and because my parents had always made me save, and they had saved for college, by the time I opened the tasting room, they had like maybe $5,000 left in that account, and I tried not to ask anybody for money, but I went to my parents and said, "Dad, is there any way I could borrow a little bit of money?" And he said, "Well, actually, you should have started this 2 years ago because the account was worth more then than it is now, but there's still a little bit of money left over from college, so I'm just going to give you that." And that allowed us to buy glasses, which are expensive, especially when you need to buy enough to do a tasting room. It allowed us to buy a computer and finish up some of our licensing stuff. So,
and you guys you had to take all of your glasses home your first year and a half.
Right. So when we moved here, we couldn't afford to do the plumbing. So for about a year and a half, I would either run them to one of the other tasting rooms I had friends with, or down to Alchemy, or even just brought them home. Yeah. Which meant that I could have a lot of glass trays so I could move them, but again, it was a lot of work and not very fun to do that. So, as we kind of made these significant chunks in developing the tasting room while still being open, it got to the point where now we're very self-sufficient, and we've got our commercial dishwasher, which is so much faster than trying to run them on a home dishwasher.
Absolutely. And it looks amazing. You guys did such a good job, and I'm honestly so proud of you for doing it without having to pull loans, because that's huge. That is huge. It can consume your entire income.
It really does. And so then once we had the plumbing, my friend came in and he finished the fronts of the counters and built us this back bar. And all the windows that you see and the fronts of the bars are off of the oldest operating brothel in Tuolumne County.
That's fascinating.
Which shut down in the, I don't know if it was 70s or the 80s. So, I mean, it wasn't so recent, but a church group had purchased this property to develop like a church retreat. And they found out that not only had this old building been used as a psychiatric hospital and all this, it was later a brothel before it got shut down. And so he and his friend were hired to tear this building down by the church group. And so he stripped flooring, siding, anything that seemed like it could be used or upcycled into something else. And so this is lucky number 13 was the door. So the room was lucky number 13, which was always kind of fun from a brothel standpoint.
Yeah.
The other door on this front bar is number 9.
That's fascinating. And so you guys touched it up with, I see La Folia in the center.
Yeah, and when he was building the corner unit for us, he played with all of that and added the carving of La Folia into it.
That's awesome. And you guys added the hooks and maybe added a little bit of the black, you painted it and made it your own.
We met this really cool lady who does this awesome, like kind of shabby chic antiquing, and she actually did our whole kitchen at home. Oh, wow. And then we said, hey, do you want to come in and do our tasting room too? And she's like, absolutely. So she really did a great job with all of that.
That's great. And are you wearing some of your merch?
Oh, yes, I'm wearing my sweatshirt. And actually, this is kind of a fun story too. I don't know if you know anything about pirate flags.
Oh, we love pirates and flags and pirate flags.
Everything on a pirate flag has a meaning. And so I had my brother do the artwork for our pirate flag. And so Anchor on my flag stands for family. So
Okay.
family is an anchor. A skull, because I feel like you have to have a skull on a pirate flag.
Right.
Top hat is a nod to La Folia, but a skull wearing a top hat means memento mori. So remember you're mortal. And so that's kind of a fun aspect. And then the wrench is for my history as a mechanic and going to school as a mechanic and working on cars with my dad.
And so
the corkscrew is, oh, cool.
Yes.
And then the corkscrew is for my time in wine.
Okay, very nice. Which has been quite a few years. You moved up here in 2000.
I moved up here 17 years ago next month, and I've been in the wine industry for 20 years now. So this will be my 21st harvest coming up.
Very good, very good. 21st harvest.
And we've been open as La Folia for 15, almost 16 years.
Okay, and can you tell me while I'm showing everyone a little bit more of your merch over here and what they can purchase? Can you tell us about the name La Folia?
Right. So when I moved up here, I went to work for Rich Gilpin at Lavender Ridge Vineyard, and really got to be close friends with him, as in addition to being my boss and my mentor.
Okay.
And he was helping me develop my brand, and I was going through a couple of different names. Urbanati, which I will talk about in a little bit, was one of them, but just didn't really fit with what we were trying to do. And so I was over having dinner at his house one time, and his daughter is a absolutely phenomenal violinist.
Oh, nice.
And she's playing this song, and I said, "Oh, that's really cool. What is that called?" She said, "Well, that's called La Folia." I said, "Oh, that's neat. What is it? What is it?" And I don't know if I asked what it meant, but her little sister goes, "It means the madness." And I'm like, "Well, that's kind of cool." And it's a soft and pretty tune that gets really kind of crazy. So La Folia is the oldest recorded European tune. So it's literally the first sheet music that anybody ever recorded. It wasn't audibly recorded, but it was written out.
And it means the madness, which coordinates
so
with the top hats.
it refers to something you're so passionate about, it drives you mad.
Oh my
So it refers to a passionate madness. So again, you see on the flag, it says madness and passion.
Yeah.
So I'm like, well, that's perfect. I always planned on naming my winery something that everybody could just get, like Joe's wine, like you understand it. Instead, I do La Folia, and people go, La Folia or Folia or what is it? So with the development of the name now, my boss is looking at the label that we had developed. And I developed the label off of an old Italian Super Tuscan label that I really liked. And it had this cool framework. And he's like, well, this is all very cool, but you need like an identifier. He said, nobody's going to remember your name. They're going to remember you for something. He's like, nobody can remember that we are Lavender Ridge Vineyard. They think it's Lavender Hill, the Lavender Place, the Cheese Place. They remember a lot of things about us, but they can never really remember our name.
Right.
So, like, you wear hats, maybe have a cane or a hat on the label. So I called my brother. I said, hey, I need a hat. He said, okay. And I tell him what La Folia means and all this. I'm thinking, because we do all Italian varietals, he's going to draw me like a cool fedora or a Panama hat, kind of very mafioso,
That's what he thought, fedora, yeah.
And he comes up, he's like, here, I did this. It's like a bell crown topper. And he's like, oh, all I heard was the madness and the Mad Hatter. So I go down there, I was like, well, I think that works. Top hat, bell crown topper, which is this style of hat.
Absolutely.
Is one of my favorite hats anyway, so I wasn't going to argue with it, but in putting together and developing the label, my label guys thought, hey, that'd be cool. Why don't we like hang the hat on the back? He was thinking maybe on the front, but I didn't like that. And what I like about it being on the back of the label is that it really sort of is like, okay, now the night is done. You're done with the wine or whatever.
It's a sequence.
Yeah. So I thought that was kind of a fun addition to the label.
Absolutely. And then this is your menu?
Yeah. So these are all the wines that we make and are available for purchase, minus some of our cult wines aren't on there. And then when you come in and taste, let's see, we've got like 6, 7, you usually taste about 7 different wines.
Okay.
Although we now always have, some special wines or some of our second label wines or cult wines available as well to taste.
And if I remember correctly, you guys deliver.
Well, so
wine?
yeah, during COVID we were doing...
during COVID,
we had a 74 Volkswagen bus.
Oh my God.
And I called up my sister who used to make signs, and I said, I need you to make me a silly sign for the side of our bus that says emergency wine delivery bus.
Oh, that's perfect.
And so she comes up with this thing, and we have to find a picture. We can send it to you sometime. But we put this on the side of the bus, and we just took a lot of pictures with it, and we put it on social media. We'd send it out to our email list, and we just really needed support. And so we stayed in front of people and tried to stay relevant by constantly just sending stuff out. And we've even had people say, the bus was perfect on social media because you can't scroll past a Volkswagen bus and not look at it.
I don't care.
I mean, I still remember it. We're 6 years later, and I'm like, I remember the deliveries in the bus.
And so somehow KCRA3 picked up on the fact that we were doing these wine. They were doing a little piece on how wineries are staying relevant and how they're doing tastings during COVID and without actually being in person. And so they picked up on our story and interviewed us, and which was fun. But so that was kind of a way to stay relevant during COVID, and
absolutely,
it was always fun to drive this Volkswagen bus around.
Which legendary KCRA reporter did you get?
Oh, I don't remember.
That's
yeah,
KCRA, born and raised.
Okay.
Yeah, and so we showed that you guys do have an outdoor area where people can sit and taste, and then
it was actually really convenient because during COVID, we had planned for years to build something out there. We had a hard time because there were trees. We couldn't afford to have the trees torn down.
It's expensive.
But the county finally came in and said, we're going to cut these trees down. What do you want us to replace them with? We're like, nothing. Just we wanted to have a patio. And then COVID hit. So now I have not only an abundance of time to do this, but now it's like also a path to reopening.
Right.
Once we can do tastings again, we'll be able to do them outside. So yeah, it's been a lifesaver on multiple levels.
A labor of love in many ways. So you guys have 2 indoor tables and some sitting chairs that people can sit at.
Yeah,
and
we'll take advantage of all number of ways to taste. Some people just prefer to stand at the bar and have the more traditional tasting. Some people like to sit and do their tasting seated. So.
Very nice. And one question I have is there a specific wine that basically is your feature wine that perhaps got you the wine tasting room of Calaveras County award?
I'm not sure about that, but our core wines, when we started out, we had a Pinot Grigio, Sangiovese, Zinfandel, Barbera, and then the Madness, which is our super
the
Tuscan
Madness,
blend.
Okay.
And we named it the Madness because La Folia means the madness.
Yeah.
It was funny because we put this out to our wine club, and what should we call this blend that we're coming up with? And I'm telling my boss, Rich, all these names that are coming out. It's like, I don't know why you just don't call it the Madness. Damn it, Rich. You won.
Yeah, absolutely. Wonderful.
So people sometimes ask, why do we have hats? And what happened was when we opened, I would always be wearing a hat when I'm pouring in the tasting room. We've got hats on the labels. People are like, when are you going to start selling hats? So I didn't really think about that. So I did some research online. Where can I hat producers, hat suppliers? And it turns out Dorfman Pacific, which is Scala or Milano now, is one of the largest hat producers and importers in the United States and the world. And they're in Stockton. I'll just go pick them up. Shipping hats is expensive, so just pick them up. And so we brought in 4 men's hats, and they sold. And then we brought in more, and they sold. And then when we moved here, we brought in more and more and more. So I always say, well, I've got ADD, so hats, wine, it makes sense to me.
Yeah, makes sense to me too. I think it's a perfect combo. Very good.
We also think that the hats taste a lot better with a little bit of wine.
Yeah, very good. And so, Anne, you are here on the weekends.
I am.
And so if you guys want to come and meet Anne and enjoy a tasting, so do you have any recommended day or time of day that you think would be good for people to come in, or just any time?
Anytime between 11 and 6.
Between 11 and 6. Okay, very good. And so these are your brother's paintings up here, you said, right,
Yep.
Ryan? Okay.
My brother's, by trade, he's a sports artist, but these are pieces that he did just during college and outside of college. He went to Rhode Island School of Design.
Oh my gosh.
And he's an illustration major, fine arts major in illustration, but through college, he put himself through college by drawing mostly baseball players, but baseball, football.
And he also designed your hat logo.
He did all the artwork for all of our labels.
El Paso label as well.
Yeah.
Except for the sparkling.
Oh, so what's the El Paso?
So El Paso's one of our 2 cult wineries. Our wines, we call it cult wines because before, so the first one that I did was Urbanati, and then we did El Paso. And before I had even labels for him, a friend of mine was always wanting more and more of this wine, and so he ended up giving me enough money to buy the labels, and I gave him wine in trade for it.
Oh, wow.
But he'd give this wine to people, and so people would come in and they'd ask my staff, hey, can I get some of that Urbanati wine? And they're like, I don't know what you're talking about. They call me up, what is Urbanati? I said, oh, there's a couple of cases in the corner, just, it's just sort of, you had to know that it exists to know that it exists. So it was really kind of more of like that sort of cult following. So El Paso is our second label. And we make 3 wines and a sparkling wine for that. So the King, the Queen, and the Fool, and Counting Stars is our sparkling Zinfandel, our rosé. The idea behind El Paso came from everything for La Folia is pure Italian and Italian in style.
Okay.
Everything for El Paso is very unconventional. So, for example, the Queen is a Pinot Grigio and Sauvignon Blanc blend. 2 grapes you don't typically see blended together. The Fool is Barbera and Zinfandel.
Yum.
2 grapes that are kind of like a California sort of style blend, although it's a lot harder to put those 2 grapes together and have them taste right. Zin and Barbera are best friends on a counter next to each other, but they don't always play well in the bottle. But in the Fool, it's just a really pretty blend of the 2 wines. You get kind of all the best attributes of both of those wines. And then the King is a blend of Cabernet Sauvignon, 40% Cabernet Sauvignon, 40% Graciano, and 20% Zinfandel. To note, those 3 grapes don't grow in the same country outside of the United States, and for that matter, California. And for this matter, this is all from Calaveras. So
wow,
it's kind of a fun kingdom, or our little kind of pseudo tarot cards. And we did design them to kind of go in line with what those tarot cards would be. So the Queen is the Queen of Cups. Queen of Wands. The King is the King of Cups, and then the Fool is the Fool.
Very nice. Very good.
So, and then we originally thought that this was going to be kind of more like playing cards when we were coming up with the King, the Queen, and the Fool. So we were going more of like an Alice in Wonderland sort of theme. But we settled in on the tarot because it really fit, and we've got a kind of a fun story about who's running the kingdom. Is it the king who's the most powerful, or is it the queen who's traditionally the most powerful, or is it the fool who is actually manipulating everybody into it? And then there are nods to La Folia in those labels too. So like the king has the anchor from the pirate flag. And all of the crowns are top hats. So they have the crown incorporated into the top hat. And then of course on the fool, our little Yorkie is running around.
Oh, yes.
And again, you kind of question like how powerful the fool would be to allow his dog to wear the king's crown, so.
Right. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and taste some of this amazing wine. So Ryan has just poured.
This is the Pinot Grigio.
Okay.
So what you may or may not know, for anybody who has not been in here before, we specialize in all Italian varietals from the Sierra Foothills.
Okay.
And with the exception of maybe the Zinfandel, we try to stylistically go as Italian in style as we can. So on the Pinot Grigio, unlike a lot of California Pinot Grigios, which are usually a little sweet or a little overripe, which sort of mimics sweetness, we go for a very light style. So very clean, crisp, lean, not very high in alcohol, and it makes for a much more Italian style Pinot Grigio, which lends to food. So just a fantastic food pairing wine.
And we are huge fans of both wine and food.
We love this with like a chicken pesto pasta. It's a really nice pairing for that.
Okay, so cheers to La Folia and to their Pinot Grigio. This is our first tasting. That's delicious. I love that it's not very sweet. I love that.
Yeah. And again, just
Nice
such a
and crisp.
great food wine.
Oh, that's delicious.
No, that's refreshing.
Oh, I could get in trouble with that. That's very
That's
good.
definitely Steph's go-to wine.
Yeah, it was different for me too because I'm filming with my right hand. It was different for me to drink it with my left hand. I was like, oh, a little bit.
Why can't I swirl
Yeah,
this
why
thing?
can't I do anything? But this is delicious, you guys.
Yeah.
So the next wine is our Sangiovese.
Okay. Yum.
And if you've ever had a Chianti, it would contain no less than 76% of this varietal.
Okay. Well, Chianti is one of my favorites. It's my go-to. It's my table wine. It's kind of my everyday. But yeah, I can't wait to try this. This looks delicious. Cheers. We didn't do that for the first one.
Well, we're not going to do it for everyone.
Well, no, we're not. But I'll give you as many kisses as possible. Exactly. See, Stephanie knows my language. Yummy. Now that, I could take home a lot of that.
Nice in the finish.
Yes, very good. What do you think, baby?
I like it.
Yeah,
Kind of dry.
I like it a lot.
This wine consistently gets 92 points. Really, the kind of the caramel that you get from the s'mores, so roasted marshmallow, really emphasizes the caramel flavor profiles in this wine. So there are contradictory flavor profiles in pairings, and then there are complementary. And so the complementary sometimes makes that flavor pop,
Nice.
and sometimes the contrasting it kind of complements the flavor and brings both wines.
Opposites attract.
Yeah, so and I tend to like the contrasting flavors rather than the complementing flavors because if you get it wrong, it just tastes funny.
Yeah.
You know.
So, that's delicious to me. I could drink this all day long, morning to night.
This is like a Côte Rôtie style Syrah Viognier blend. And I made the label to kind of look like an Ellis Island ticket of what do we believe.
Oh,
that
nice.
So this is my Sangiovese. It's our 2016. This is actually what I think is our absolute best red wine.
In Murphy's La Folia winery just refurbished this van, plastering the signs emergency wine delivery all over it. The owner, Ryan Teeter, says he's doing what he can to generate interest in his business.
We can't obviously take sales through the bus or do tastings through the bus, but at least we're still doing kind of fun things with this. And I'm working on getting an ice cream horns just to drive around the local neighborhoods and make people smile.
So we had a few more tastings, and by the time we had the extent of the tastings that Ryan and Stephanie gave us, we were not filming anymore. But you guys, oh my gosh,
It was an amazing time chatting with them.
Absolutely. We came home with t-shirts, and we came home with wine. Aaron picked his favorite, and I picked my favorite. One of my favorites. I actually could have brought home any of them. So yeah, I have the Barbera. Aaron has the Pinot Grigio. So to toast our experience, we're gonna open these bad boys up. Babe, yours is a twist off, so you can twist yours off. And last night we came home. You guys, first of all, before I dive into what we came home to last night, let me just tell you that you will have such a great time, and I really highly suggest that you make a trip to Murphy's. I know we've told you guys that before, but it's just such a little gem in the Sierra Foothills, and all of the grapes that La Folia uses are Sierra Foothills grapes. So you're going to get...
They're all within 40 miles
Yeah, I think so.
of the winery, I believe.
One day it would be nice to go have them show us around their vineyards and maybe give you guys a little feel into what it's like to make wine. That might be something that we can talk to them about. I worked for a winery briefly right before COVID in Murphy's, and I got to experience that, and it was quite.
And I've harvested
adventure.
grapes and helped press them and stuff before.
Have you? Mm-hmm. Nice. Yeah. So it was just such a great experience, and we absolutely love their winery, their wine tasting room, shall I say. They're very experienced, very knowledgeable.
Very knowledgeable.
Just good people all the way around. And so cheers to La Folia.
Cheers to the Folia and Ryan and Stephanie.
And all their hard work, and
Yeah.
just amazing. So we hope you guys can make it up there. Kisses.
Cheers to
Cheers.
this video. You guys watching for
Yeah.
Folia for being amazing and having
Absolutely.
just a great time.
Just a wonderful time. Now, last night, let me take a sip before I tell you guys this. Yummy.
It is yummy. Yeah, still.
Oh my gosh, just the smell.
It makes me want to think about experimenting with different hats. I don't know if I'm brave enough to go away from my beanie and ball cap game, but
I think you could do it.
occasions.
Yeah, absolutely. So last night we got home, and I'm going to plug a little clip in here for you guys. We got home to the most insane lightning and hailstorm.
It was crazy. For where we're at, it's the biggest hail I think I've ever seen.
Oh
here.
my gosh. Even what I got in my hands to show people was not even as big as it was. And it was flying in every direction. It was coming in over, into the covered porch, hitting us in the head.
It was the craziest weather for 10 minutes.
For 10 minutes at least, and we were outside filming. We turned the porch light off and we're like filming the lightning, because the lightning was just... There was one bit of thunder that scared both of us so bad. It sounded like lightning. It sounded like lightning had hit the tree right in front of the house.
Right directly next to where I was standing.
It was insane. But yeah, so we're going to plug a little clip of that in. We had such a wonderful day filming yesterday.
Yeah.
We hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please go visit La Folia.
Visit Murphy's. Visit everybody
Murphy's.
there. But while you're there, definitely please
Absolutely.
step in.
Yeah, and
say
get yourself
hi.
a top hat.
Get yourself a bowler.
Bowler?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yeah. My hat terms.
All right.
I remember that.
Okay, you guys have a wonderful evening. We will see you tomorrow for our podcast episode. We did not post last Sunday because it was Easter, but we will see you tomorrow for episode 7.
Episode 7.
Crazy.
We do.
All right.
Big numbers.
Take it good.
All right. See you guys.